Hello everyone and welcome to LoL Weekly. I am your host, Solid, aka Josh, and this is the show where we talk all about LoL esports. So many games have happened, honestly. We had 2 Super Weeks, one in NA and one in EU. And then we've also had a few regional qualifiers in the Road to Worlds. But first, I will talk about those Super Weeks I mentioned. In NA, we had a slightly predictable one in my opinion, but going against that, we did have Vulcan beat Cloud9. That was Cloud9's 3rd loss, 2 losses now against Vulcan, and 1 against CLG. TSM went on a bit of a run, taking down Velocity, Coast and Curse, but then they did lose quite hard against Vulcan and Cloud9, which was to be expected, but, you know, it would have raised their spirits at least, the first 3 wins, going 3 and then losing 2, which means they went 3-2 in the 5 games that they played for Super Week. CLG took a lot of beating this week, losing to Curse and Dignitas, which was not good for them, but it does mean that they did end up quite low in the standings, losing to those tiebreaker matches. So, going into the standings, as we go into playoffs, the teams 1 through 6 have made it through. 7 and 8, unfortunately, go down to re-promote for next season. Of course, we have Cloud9 in that top position, 25-3 now, which is the highest amount of games a team has ever won in LCS. Vulcan catching them up slightly in 2nd place with a 20-8. TSM securing their 3rd place, 14-14. Then, after some interesting tiebreaker games and looking at some of the scores, we have Curse in 4th, Dignitas in 5th, and then a CLG dropping all the way to 6th, all of them having 13 wins, 15 losses. That means that Coast and Velocity do go down into promotion, but those top 6 teams have a chance in playoffs. Those playoffs will be taking place from August 30th to September 1st at PAX, and the first set of games will be Curse versus Dignitas, going to playing Cloud9, and then the other set of games will be TSM versus CLG, going to face Vulcan, and whoever wins in those semi-final games will go in the finals and guarantee themselves a spot in Worlds from NA. And then the losers of those semi-final games will have to do a match for 3rd place, and the winner of that game will also secure themselves a spot for Worlds. Over in EU, Alternate got a thrashing. They lost to SK, Gambit, Lemon Dogs, Ninjas in Pyjamas and EG. They really messed this last week up. They were on a roll for the start and they've just been going downhill, and this was not good for them at all. They almost lost their position. On the other side of that coin, we've got Gambit, who beat Meet Your Makers, Alternate, EG and SK, but finally lost to Fnatic, meaning they went 4-1 in their season, putting them in a brilliant spot going into the playoffs. Lemon Dogs also went 4-1, beating Fnatic, as I said. Ninjas in Pyjamas, Alternate and Meet Your Makers, but they lost in a rather odd game in my opinion to EG, where they just weren't playing at the top of their game. That means that Lemon Dogs do secure themselves 1st place, 18-10. Fnatic taking that 2nd place due to tiebreaker games and other things, 15-13. EG in 3rd, going 15-13. Gambit in 4th, really pushing it up there, 15-13 after a brilliant week. Ninjas in Pyjamas also 15-13, but coming in that 5th position just because they didn't do well against these top teams. And then Alternate really losing hard, but securing themselves a 6th place spot, 13-15, which does mean all of those teams go through to the playoffs, but SK and Meet Your Makers do go down into the promotion. And this is on the 23rd to the 25th of August at Gamescom in Germany, which is brilliant. We have the playoffs for EU, where Gambit will be going up against Ninjas in Pyjamas to face off then in the semi-finals against Lemon Dogs. And then EG will have to face off against Alternate going into their semi-finals against Fnatic. And just like with the NA, we have obviously a first place and a third place game coming on after these. Now, going into playoffs that have already happened, we had the Southeast Asia playoffs. And the winner of that, qualifying themselves a spot, was Team Minsk, who beat the Singapore Sentinels 2-0 in their best of 3. Very well done to those. And then we now have the international wildcard. Now, these are for teams that don't actually have a like a region that they're in right now, and they get one spot in the Worlds. And those teams are Team Immunity, Pain Gaming, GamingGear.eu, Dark Passage, and Lion with a Y, Gaming. And those teams will be fighting for a single spot in the playoffs, so it's going to be very hard for those teams to make it through. But in my opinion, it's quite good that Riot are providing people without a region a chance to get into Worlds, because some of these teams could be very good. Maybe not Korean level, but pretty good. So, as I said, we've got the EU and NA qualifiers, we've got Korea, we've got China, we've got tons of qualifiers, and then 14 teams from those regions will go into the Worlds playoff, which will be a group stage, then into playoffs, similar to what's happened in some of the other regions, which you should definitely try and catch as much of these games. They're going to be brilliant. You can see all of the rosters and all that kind of stuff over at LoL Esports, and there's a big banner in the top right hand thing which is Road to Worlds, and that's all of the different the playoffs for each place, and then the Worlds finals. And they are now doing English streams for all of them, so you can catch all of those games over there. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.